everyone. Hi everyone. Is that Hi everyone. I hope everyone is fine. If you have any UK immigration issues, feel free to put it in the chat and let's talk about it, okay?
Afford and to pay for your visa sponsorship to come to the UK. You are in debt because you cannot repay the loans and the monies that you borrowed to come to the UK. You have been scammed. Stay tuned to the rest of this video and I will explain to you how you have been scammed. This video is for you. Hello everyone and welcome to All Things Legal. Today we are diving into a hot topic, the UK government's latest measures to crack down on immigration compliance. If you are an employer, a student, a skilled worker, or even an immigrant yourself, this information is for you. I know, I understand. You may have sold your house, your car, your lands, or even borrowed money from friends and families to afford and to pay for your visa sponsorship to come to the UK. You have been scammed. You were granted your visa sponsorship and you're now in the UK, but you cannot afford essential items, housing, food. You are in debt because you cannot repay the loans and the monies that you borrowed to come to the UK. You have been scammed. Stay tuned to the rest of this video and I will explain to you how you have been scammed. This video is for you. The UK Home Office has announced new measures in a
Hi everybody. Let's talk about, have you ever been scammed in your life before trying to get a visa sponsorship to come to the UK? If you have, put your response in the chat. Let's talk about it. I would love to know if you have ever been scammed or know of anyone who experienced issues in that regards, whereby they're desperate to come to the UK to work, to study, or to do anything, and they need a visa to come here. They paid money for the visa, so sometimes there are agents who would charge you loads of money just to come here. They paid money to come here to the UK, and they were scammed. So if you have ever been in that position or know if anyone who's been in that position, let me know and let's have a chat about it, okay? Now I'll continue the video.
An effort to tighten immigration compliance across the UK. These changes would combat visa abuse and migrant exploitation. It is an effort to address illegal migration and ensure adherence to the immigration rules in the UK. Let us now look at one of the first measures. Now, UK Home Office will be banning employers from charging employees for a visa sponsorship. Okay, so potential employers and agents are abusing migrants by charging for visa sponsorship. And when I say charging, I mean exorbitant fees, extravagant fees. Okay, I have heard stories of migrants paying £3,000, £4,000 just for a sponsorship. This is illegal. If you did not know, now you know. This is illegal. Okay? Now, for an example, when migrants come to the UK, maybe on a skilled worker to work in the care sector, on most occasions, they are faced with challenges, such as sometimes there are no work, no shifts, no pay, reduced pay. So whatever was agreed initially between the worker and the employer, when they get to the UK, the pay is reduced. Sometimes there are no housing. The migrants are left with large debts back in their home country and even here in the UK. As a result of that, what can happen next is that the migrant can report this to the Home Office and the employer's sponsor license can be revoked. But once the employer's sponsor license is revoked, then that has a knock-on effect onto the migrant's visa in the UK. The migrant's visa can eventually be curtailed, and that will leave the migrant in the UK becoming an overstayer or illegal. So what must you know? Now, employers are responsible for recruitment costs of their employees, full recruitment costs of their employees. If any employer is caught charging employees for sponsorship to come to the UK, they risk losing their sponsor license. And there are other consequences which I'll discuss later on in this video. Also, just to make you aware, to date, over 490 sponsor licenses have been revoked because of non-compliance to the immigration rules. And mostly, these sponsor licenses are within the care sector. Okay? So, be careful when you are consulting with an agent or an employer for a visa sponsorship to come to the UK. All right. Now, what you should do as well is to verify that sponsorship, verify that employer to make sure that their sponsor license is still valid. I will be doing a separate video on how you can check your employer's sponsor license validity. So make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and turn your notification on. The second measure.
Okay, so right. In a nutshell, what has been happening is that people are in their home country and they're desperate for a visa sponsorship to come to the UK, mostly to work, okay? And there are agents or employers who would offer these sponsorship to people, and they would offer it at a cost. So sometimes I have heard of stories of people paying £3,000, £4,000 just for a visa sponsorship. Now, when they are granted this visa sponsorship, and sometimes they are not even granted it, sometimes they do not get the visa sponsorship. But if they get the sponsorship and they come to the UK, when they come to the UK, they are faced with many challenges, such as there are no work for them, there are no shifts, there are no housing, sometimes their pay is reduced, and they are faced with horrible conditions here in the UK. Now, what normally happens after that is that they may report it to the Home Office. And once your employees report to the Home Office, the conditions, they're not working, etc., then eventually, if there are lots of complaints and the Home Office has investigated your company, you can lose your sponsor license. And if you lose your sponsor license, then the workers, the immigrants, will eventually lose their visa in the UK. Where does that leave the immigrants who've lost their visas? Remember that when you lose your visa, you have to try to look for another visa or you leave the UK. These immigrants who lose their visas are faced with a harsh decision, either to leave the UK or to find another sponsor. On most occasions, it's very hard getting another sponsor in the UK, and so they become reliant on either make an asylum claim or some other type of immigration application here. Okay, so what I am urging you to do is to, before you pay for a sponsorship, before you pay for a visa to come to the UK, you should check and verify that the sponsor has a valid license. Now, I'll be doing a separate video on how to check for sponsor license in the UK to make sure that they're valid. But that's one of the first steps that you should do. Secondly, you do not pay for a sponsor visa. You do not pay for a sponsor visa. Recruitment cost is covered by the employer. So employees or potential employees do not pay for COS, what you call is a certificate of sponsorship. That is being covered by the employer, and it's normally around £300 sometimes for a COS. Okay, so if you approach an agent or an employer and they're charging you for a sponsor license, you should not pay for a sponsor license. Even if you're desperate, you do not pay for a sponsor license. So that's why one of the changes or one of the measures that will be implemented by the Home Office to crack down on compliance of the immigration rules is that there will be a ban on employers who are charging for a visa sponsorship. All right, so let's move on to the next measure that's going to be implemented. If you have not watched this videos yet, it's on my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, and you should have a look at it. But we're going to look at the second measure and then I'm going to come back and explain it again, okay?
That will be implemented is enhanced penalties for non-compliance, including business closures, financial fines, and prosecution. Now, what has been happening in the UK is that there's a knock-on effect of migrants, especially skilled workers. So you have been charged for a visa sponsorship to come here. You've sold everything in order to achieve that visa sponsorship. You are in the UK now, but things are not going the way that you expected it to. And who knows, your employer may have lost their sponsor license, and then you may have lost your visa. Or for some other odd reason, you have lost your visa. Your visa has been curtailed. Now, if your visa is curtailed and you have not made another immigration application within time before your visa is curtailed, then you can become an overstayer in the UK. Now, businesses and employers have been employing employees who do not have right to work in the UK. And this is a problem, okay? So any business or employer found to have breached or be in non-compliance with the immigration rules can face penalties, fines, prosecution, business can close down. And the fines have increased, and employers can face up to 2 years ban on their business. Okay, so employers will now face harsher penalties for hiring individuals who do not have authorization to work in the UK. All right, so be careful.
All right, so I'm back again. So the second measure that's going to be implemented by the Home Office to crack down on compliance in the UK, immigration compliance in the UK, is enforced penalties. Now, when we say enforcement of penalties, it means that there are going to be harsher penalties for business owners found to have employed immigrants or migrants who do not have proper authorization to work in the UK. Now, I implore business owners, employers to make sure that you check the right to work of your employees. Always continuously check their right to work in the UK. The fines are going to be increased, I think, to up about 20,000. The ban has increased from 1 year to now 2 years ban on your business. Also, your business can close down, especially if you have been in continuous breach of the immigration rules. All right, so enforcement of penalties, I urge you as business owners, as employers, to make sure check that your employees have the right to work. And employees, do not ask for a job if you do not have right to work. Or if your visa has been curtailed, you must inform your employer of your current immigration status. All right, so that's the second measure that's going to be implemented, and the Home Office plans to be very, very strict with the immigration rules in 2025 compared to the previous times. Okay, as I was explaining before, how do we get to this stage in cracking down on immigration rules? Now, immigrants come to the UK and they come on a visa that they bought, quote unquote bought. Okay, so they come on a visa sponsorship that they paid, lots of monies for. But when they get to the UK, they do not have any job, they do not have any shifts, they're not getting paid, and so they're in a horrible condition and hardships. So that leads now to businesses who would have employed you being unaware of your immigration status, unless if they do continuous checks on your right to work. So this is why this measure is being implemented. It's a way to get business owners to do continuous right to work checks on their employees. Now let's go to the last measure that's going to be implemented, and then after I'll come back and talk again. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. You get the latest news on UK immigration and any other legal topics on this channel. Okay?
And the final measure that I would share with you today is increased enforcement. It is estimated that about 6,600 visits were made to businesses suspected of hiring illegal workers in 2024. The Home Office has planned to increase these visits in 2025. So, make sure that all employees have proper authorization to work in the UK. This will avoid you losing your business, having a ban on your business, may have to pay a fine or having a penalty. The Home Office would also enforce border checks. So when you enter the UK, there is stricter tests that will be happening at the border. They will also implement an electronic system to monitor who enters and who leaves the UK. So increase enforcement across the UK in order to enforce compliance of the immigration rules. So if you are a business owner in the UK, you must ensure that all workers have proper authorization to work in the UK. Ignorance is no excuse. And immigrants or skilled workers or students, I implore you to make sure that your visa is always valid and that your other documentations are always up to date. That's it for today's discussion on UK immigration compliance. If you found this video helpful,
Okay, I'm back again. So the third measure that they are going to implement is enforcement of regular checks of your business regular visits to your business, sorry. So the Home Office is going to conduct regular visits to businesses. In 2024, they did around 6,600 visits to businesses in the UK. And that is to check that your employees have right to work and that you're not employing any illegal migrants working for you. Now, you don't know, you might be the next business that the Home Office is going to pop up to. So that's why you have to make sure that you always conduct regular checks of your employees to make sure that they have the right to work. Because the Home Office can turn up at your business door, at your business steps, just to check your employees' right to work. All right? So these are 3 measures that the Home Office will be implementing in 2025 in order to assist with compliance of the immigration rules in the UK. Okay, immigrants, if you're in the UK, make sure that your right to work is always up to date. If there's anything wrong with your right to work, get legal advice to know how you can regularize your stay in the UK, what you can do legally in order to be here legal. Okay, and business owners, make sure you conduct regular right to work checks on your employees. I'm gonna play the last part of the video, and yes, and then I'll come back.
Give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might be in need of guidance. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might be in need of this information. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer all of them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, share, and turn your notification on so you do not miss my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, so that was the last bit on the video there, just basically saying to you, if you get a chance to watch the video and you find it very helpful to you, just give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share it, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, so you can be up to date, you can be updated whenever there are UK immigration news or just life in the UK in general. Okay, I aim to provide regular updates on my channel for you, so you would not be disappointed. But yes, in this video we spoke about UK immigration compliance and how they plan to crack down on compliance in 2025. There are 3 major measures that they're going to implement in order to curb compliance. First, they're going to be banning any employers who collected monies for a visa sponsorship from an employee. Okay, so ban on employers charging for visa sponsorship. The second measure is enforced penalties, and the third measure is frequent visits to business offices to check their employees' right to work. My name is Sheri, and I'm an immigration lawyer in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for watching this live, for being on my live. Thank you. And I would, oh, there's a question. Let me see before I go. Hi, is there any chance of making it as an asylum seeker in the UK? Yes, there is, to be honest. It's based on your claim. Yeah, it's based on why you're claiming asylum in the UK. Is it for a conventional reason? Is it religion? Is it political? So yeah, once you have a strong claim, yes, you can make it here in the UK. Okay, Musiki, thank you for that question. Don't forget to like the live, guys, and to subscribe as well. But yeah, generally you can. Let me know if you have any other questions before I go. All right, so if you have no further question, Masigi, yeah, I'm gonna go now because I I was explaining about the UK compliance rules, which I've done. But feel free, Musigi, if you have any further question, you can always put it on comment on my video and I would respond to you accordingly. Okay, take care. Bye everybody.